Our next speaker is Mike Michelli.
In '97, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I was 6 years old. Traditional experimental pharmaceuticals failed to provide the relief and had paralyzing side effects. I had to be proactive about my health, and I began reading and treating myself with cannabis. For the first time, I felt relief from this debilitating condition. In 2008, I was arrested for growing my medicine and could no longer treat myself with cannabis. The very next month, I had my first surgery, and over the 2 years following my arrest and probation period with no cannabis, I suffered through a total of 5 more surgeries. Without my medicine, my health failed miserably. My infant son was taken from me by typhus. I went to NA for using medicine that healed me with people I had nothing in common with and should have never associated with, because I'm a patient and not a criminal. Once my legal issues were resolved, I illegally resumed my cannabis treatment and my health began improving. I was approved by the State Department in December of 2012 and finally felt like a true legal patient. I have my ID card, but I still have no legal access because of the state of the program. I still have stress of being seen as a criminal and not a patient. On May 22nd, I was arrested and charged as a criminal. I'm a legal patient, but my meds were not from the dispensary. I'm on the waiting list. That medicine was healing my Crohn's, and the stress of the arrest had removed that gain and had been a detriment to my condition. Cannabis is the only medicine I have found that affords me the ability to lead a productive life and be a good husband and father. And all I want to do is the right to treat myself with safe, effective medicine.
And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I want to do too. I have a terminal illness as well. Like Mike, I'm on the list, I have my ID, but I'm actually able to legally get it. So the difference between Mike and me, is it good luck? Is it maybe one of us had a bigger megaphone? Is it maybe one of us had a different relationship with law and order? Maybe one of us lives closer to Montclair? So this is not equal access to all patients, not yet. Not all patients who have been approved are still getting locked up. Switching gears, I think as moms, dads, uncles, grandparents, aunts, adults, it's all of our instinct, something we're hardwired for to protect our children. Learning that Mike was diagnosed at such a young age, you think about our children. Normally we wouldn't want them poking themselves with hypodermic syringes. But if they're diabetic, you damn well better believe we would. We wouldn't want our children being exposed to radiation. But what if they had cancer and that was the treatment? I'm not necessarily comfortable with kids smoking pot recreationally, but the truth is, to deprive parents and pediatricians of the medicine for their children is not only is it unscientific, but it really profoundly lacks in compassion. And our next speaker, Megan Wilson, is the mother of one such patient, and she's going to share some thoughts with us now. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you. My daughter Vivian has, I'm going to start crying already. My daughter Vivian has Dravet syndrome. It's a severe, catastrophic form of epilepsy that she will never outgrow. Vivian had her first seizure when she was just 2 months old. Oh, and I have laryngitis. At 4 months old, she was prescribed a barbiturate called phenobarbital. And when it didn't work to control her seizures, the doctor increased the dose. When that still didn't work, her neurologist prescribed Trileptal, and then Topamax, and then Depakote, and then Keppra, and then Omfi. By the age of 13 months, Vivian had ridden in an ambulance no less than 15 times. She had stopped breathing with 2 different seizures. She was taking 4 different anti-epileptic medications twice per day and was still seizing every 2 to 4 weeks. Her seizures never responded to conventional rescue medications and often lasted 20 to 45 minutes, but sometimes they lasted as long as an hour. Today, Vivian has received some relief from the prolonged seizures by eating a high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet, but she still seizes about 15 times per day and is developmentally delayed. A type of non-psychoactive medical marijuana with a high concentration of cannabidiol, or CBD, may allow Vivian to experience seizure freedom, increased cognition, and best of all, allow her to be a kid. Although Vivian is a New Jersey State medical marijuana card holder, she does not have access to these special high CBD strains due to the restrictions of the program. Governor Christie has stated that he wants New Jersey to be a compassionate state for the terminally and chronically ill. Well, Vivian is chronically ill, and this state has shown her no compassion. Christie has also stated many times that he does not want New Jersey to be like Colorado or California. I wish he could meet with all of the children in medical marijuana-friendly states who have new leases on life thanks to medical marijuana. Kids like Cooper and Jaden, Charlotte, Zakai, Kira, and Emily. Or better yet, I wish he could talk to their parents who have had to watch their children seize over and over, year after year, until they discovered medical marijuana. We can't wait forever for New Jersey to help us. Every seizure decreases Vivian's chance at a healthy and happy life. We never know when that seizure may come that can take away everything for Vivian, or take her away from us completely. We wonder every day if we should move to Colorado. But why should we have to move when New Jersey has its very own medical marijuana program for which my daughter qualifies? My biggest fear is to have to one day look Vivian in the eyes and tell her that I failed her. That there was something better out there and she could have had a better life, but I didn't fight hard enough for her. New Jersey is our home, and I will keep fighting here, not only for Vivian, but all of the patients who need access to medical marijuana now. Thank you.
You know, Chris Christie's repeatedly said that the ridiculous wait to access cannabis in this state is not a crisis. You know who it's a crisis for? For this mother. You know who it's a crisis for? For our dead friends. You know who it's a crisis for? For people who have 6 months to live. So while we're congratulating Chris Christie on what a fantastic politician he is and how skilled he is, I want you to remember that he cares more about what primary voters in Iowa think about him than he cares about what this woman thinks with a dead child that she's helpless to bring aid to, knowing that there's help out there. If there's any takeaway that I beseech the press to please remember, it's that Chris Christie, our brilliant, gifted governor, has no heart when it comes to medical cannabis. And this woman is proof. You know, I don't even have kids. I have a cat. And I think about what it's like when the cat's in peril just a little bit and how I freak out when he doesn't come home on time. I'm like bereft and beside myself. And to amplify that by 1,000,000, if it was a child suffering, Chris Christie says this is no crisis. I want you to look at her and tell me that that's the case.